Welcome to Readings from the Animal Kingdom with Kareema from Pet Care Magic. I'm an animal communicator, a Reiki master who specialises in animals, and an intuitive psychic. And I like to combine all of those modalities into channeling messages from the animal kingdom for myself and for others. We live within a community of not only people, but a community of many, many wild animals, as well as many domesticated animals. You might have dogs or cats or fish or birds or rats or mice or whatever in your home, tarantulas if that's the sort of animal you love, in your home. But then there's also a huge number of animals outside of your home, from big to small, up in the sky, down in the earth, even under the earth, in the trees, right around us. And all of those animals at any particular point in time may or may not have a message for you. And I'm going to invite you through these readings done every week on a Sunday, hopefully, to listen to that message, take what resonates for you, and open up your way of thinking over the following week into how that message does or doesn't fit into your life. It's okay if it doesn't. It's okay if only some of it does. That is 100% up to you. The animal kingdom has no egos. They don't mind. They just hang around out there, and if they're given an opportunity to communicate a message, they will. Each week will have a particular theme to it. Before I start the reading, I will meditate on what animal I think has the overarching message for that week. And I will then choose which of the numerous animal-themed decks I have to work out which deck I will be using for that reading. Oh. So back 13 or so days ago, I obviously called in the rain. It hasn't stopped raining since. And I put this image up today because I honestly think. So I invite you now to take a look, because I think we're close to floods. So February, March, on here on the mid-north coast and the northern rivers, it is traditionally our flood month. There's probably a great weather reason behind that. I think it's got to do with king tides. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but we do get most of our floods in February and March. And then what happens is it happens like this. The rain starts and we have quite a lot of rain. It usually comes after quite a dry period. So it takes a while for all the dams and the rivers and the streams to fill up, or the water tanks to fill up, because I'm in a rural area. And then eventually when they're all full, if the rain just keeps coming, and boy, did we have some rain last night. At one stage during last night, it woke me up, it was that heavy. It's eased off a little bit today. But when all that's full and we combine that with king tides, which push the water back up from the coast, back up the river systems, then we can get flooding. Flooding to a minor, moderate or major level, and that varies from place to place. And I think that's coming. So I was very much inspired in this reading today to think about the rain. It's life-giving, it's cleansing, it's washing clean, it's renewing. And then when I started to pull the cards that I'm pulling, and I'm doing something a little bit odd this today, or something a little bit outside of my comfort zone, is that I'm combining two decks within the reading. So I'm going to combine I'll just go on to the next slide and see whether I can do it without the audio. So I'm combining the medicine card deck, a very, very old card deck. Old for me, it's the first card deck I ever brought. The discovery of power through ways of animals by Jamie Sams and David Carlson. And it's such an old deck that it doesn't have all the bells and whistles graphics that you tend to see on modern decks. Like I've taken a photo here of some blank cards that they put in with their deck. So it's very, very simple. They basically have just, in all their cards, they have the animal and the name of the animal, a number, so that you can do number 1, 2, whatever. The name of the animal, a photo of the animal, and that's it. They do have some wild cards at the end that sometimes when I'm doing full readings, I'll use the wild cards to see which animal. So it'll be a wild card to see which animal wants to come in if an animal hasn't had a chance to come in. Then I combine that with a new deck that I brought just recently, and this is the first time I've ever read anything off this deck. And this is by Colette Baron Reed, and it's 68 cards. It's a very big deck, and it's the Spirit Animal Oracle. So I was really curious. I haven't done any spirit animal, I haven't called in any spirit animal oracles before. I've generally been traditionally working with what I call living animals that are still living. Although they do tap into the collective wisdom and the collective spirit world of their species and of the animal species in general. But I'm really curious to know, by bringing in this deck and having a look at this deck, one, how it compares and contrasts to just the way I have been reading, and can it give us any additional insights? And also, I'm always fascinated when I use different decks and the similar message comes out on that deck. The similar message comes out on both decks. I'm a scientist by initial training, and I'm always trying to prove that what I do is stupid. It sounds ridiculous, but that's what I do. I try and prove, that the analytical scientific part of my brain comes in and says, oh, you're full of garbage, you're full of hot air. And then I'll do things like this, looking at 2 decks and finding out, oh, whoops, and it does. I know what cards have been pulled in this, and I know what message. I've done a little bit of delving into the message while I pulled the cards and took the photos and things. And I'm laughing because the message is very consistent across 2 decks. And back then to the rain message, and back then to what the overall flow is of this reading. And I have changed subsequently. I have changed the commentary that goes at this point in the thing, where I initially was thinking, A, B, C, or D, or A, B, or C, when I only have 3 cards, is one of them is going to talk to you. But what I've been finding over and over and over again in all of these readings, week after week after week, is that one of them isn't talking to you. They're all combining to create the story. That the animals are coming in with collective wisdom. Yes, I'll occasionally get but you forgot to say, from a later card. And all of that is usually combining with the sort of the overriding feeling of the theme of the reading that is picked for me at the very beginning of the reading, and that seems to be happening week after week after week. So I've changed the commentary that happens here just a little bit to take a look at this image and see whether A, B, C, or D is going to most resonate with you. It doesn't matter if they don't, because what I'm finding with these readings is that overall they're tending to add to each other, or they're tending to validate information or add on information that we've heard in the previous cards. That, along with the theme of the reading, is tending to make a readings that I'm saying to people probably are best thought about in totality rather than in any one particular card. However, if one particular card right now is screaming at you, me, 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 then just jot that down for yourself and either go directly to that section and read that first and listen to that first, or pay more attention when we're at that particular spot. So the first card out of the medicine card deck, I always tend to call it the animal medicine card deck, is the eagle. The eagle is one of my totem animals, and that's a whole other different category that we'll talk about one day. I might actually do a totem animal read live on this channel one day in the not too distant future. But so when the eagle card comes out, I always see the eagle above everything, and eagles have a very, very wide territory range. They won't just fly in a very small area. Particularly these big eagles, these big birds of prey eagles. They have the ability to be above go above everything and see things from a much higher and much broader perspective. Every time I've done cards that eagles have come out, they have always sent me the picture of them soaring above everything, and the message generally is very consistent with get above it all and see things from a different perspective. Get right above and see things from a much clearer, much broader perspective, rather than being stuck in the just trying to find something in a file I've got open here, rather than being stuck in the weeds per se, if that makes sense. What's the saying? You know, you can't see the forest for the trees, so get out of there, get up above it, and be able to see it. A very, very powerful card is the eagle. They have a lot of wisdom in, you know, finding an eagle feather is always sort of an amazing event. You see a lot of use of eagle feathers in the headdresses, and I did have a healing wand that had eagle feathers in it. Unfortunately, one of my dogs, now since passed, took a dislike to this wand. I don't know why, and literally destroyed it on me one day. I had to keep the wand hidden from him, and one day accidentally I left it out, and he destroyed it, absolutely destroyed. I mean, not only had a nibble on it, he literally destroyed it. About the only thing left was this very just bedraggled eagle feather and the stone that had been at the very end of the wand. The big shamans, the really, really important shamans to the Native American tribes, and I would imagine to our First Nations tribes as well, they have a very strong connection with eagles. And eagles also, there's a very strong feeling I always get with eagles about the highs and the lows. Like they're up top and then they come back down. And it's about being able to navigate the highs and the lows. It's about taking courage to go out there and to go out there and be courageous in what you can see from up above. Be courageous. So no, the story they're giving me is be courageous to go up there. Have the courage to think to yourself occasionally, I need to get up and see the bigger picture. And to be free of the bonds that are holding you down. Like think about an eagle. An eagle on land is not nearly as graceful and as able to get around as an eagle up in the air. But once they get up in the air and they're soaring on those currents, they have profound powers. And that what it's saying to me very clearly is get up there, refresh, revitalize your viewpoint, and have the courage to do so. And that goes back to what is the rain about? The rain is about refreshing, wiping clean, because the eagle's saying when you go up to the top and soar around and look at that new perspective, to look higher, that you will refresh and replenish. You will get a different view of things. The same way we get a different view of things after the rain. Like the rain cleans and revitalizes and refreshes. Go and look at the land. I'm lucky enough to. I'm not living on the farm anymore, but I still go out to the farm, not as often as I should. But it's amazing after a bit of rain how quickly it goes from dried, ground off to refreshed. The green shoots that come up so fast. Back in November of 2019, we had a very severe bushfire come through, a wildfire. It wasn't a bushfire, it was more than a bushfire, it was a wildfire. And it came through 3/4 of my property. There was trees burnt, like literally everything. It was scorched earth. It was that hot a fire. And for about a month there was, it was really brown, really drab. And then we got it was in sort of November, in sort of late January, we got this sort of rain, this sort of heavy rain, and literally within a few days and a week, the transformation was absolutely astonishing. From brown, you know, new shoots coming out on all the trees, all the grass just came back and bigger and better than everything. So I've sort of lost track with where I was going with the eagle. So the eagle is inviting you to go to get above, and it's saying that get above and tap into the incredible wisdom, ancient wisdom that eagles have. Okay. I love the eagle. I absolutely love the eagle card when it comes out. The card B, still on the medicine deck. And I pulled the skunk. Hey, it's funny when you pull the skunks. You know, you get an immediate recoil. Like, who likes skunks? I mean, we don't have skunks here in Australia. We don't have anything even like skunks. And God forbid, I don't know what I would do if I ever came across, like, not here, but if I was ever in an area where there is skunks and I came across them. But being the eccentric, ridiculous person that I am, I got to laugh and love skunks for their ability to be like, yeah, whatever. You know, you don't like me. You think I'm obnoxious. Guess what? I'm here, and I'm here to stay. You know, I am a powerful animal. People go bolting, people and animals bolt away from me when they see me because they're so terrified of me, and that I don't need to be liked to be powerful. And that's the big message that comes across here. You need to respect me. When I come into your area, I command respect. Okay, I'm not so sure I like the way they command respect, but it's not quite the way I would like to command respect. But anyway, it's the way they do it. Works for them. And the interesting thing about the skunk is, see, do they threaten your life when they're in that area? No, they don't. But they do threaten your senses. Like, honestly, I don't think I've even seen a skunk in a zoo or anything, actually. I don't know that I've ever seen one at all. So they're very nonchalant, they're very playful, they're very I dare you. And I think that the big message that sort of came across when I first pulled this card is for them to say, because the skunk sort of said to me very clearly, don't worry about who I am or what I am or where I am, but I'm telling you that your senses are important and that you need to tap into your senses. So the eagle's gone above everything, and they're very much using their eyes, whereas the skunk's telling you it's not just about eyes. As I said at the beginning of this, often another card will come in or say, yes, I get what they just said, and that's okay. The skunk says yes, and the eagle's all about what they can see and their power to go up above. But my power is here, and I've come in to remind you about what about your other senses. It's not just all about sight. What we find as humans is that we're fixated on sight. We tend to lose sense of our hearing and our power of smell, and also our other sense, which is not a traditional sense, but I use it as a sense, our sense of intuition. So the skunk is saying, tap into all of the senses you've got, not just sight. I think you'll find people who live in an area where there are skunks, they will tell you they probably get the feeling there's one around before they actually see it, whether that's because of the smell about them or just or some sort of slight noise that they make, and that's the skill that the skunk is telling you. And the skunk is also telling you that if you're going to refresh and revitalize right now and go into this new refresh and awakening that the rain is telling us about, don't be frightened to be different. don't be frightened. So that the eagle has said, don't be frightened to take the risk and find the courage to go up there and look from above. And the skunk's also saying, don't worry about what other people are going to think. I mix in the business world as a digital marketer, and I see so many people say, I've got this really good idea, but I'm not sure. Well, you know, if it's a really good idea and it feels right for you, then go do it. Imposter syndrome. Go do it. At least give it a try. And the skunk's saying, respect yourself. Respect your ideas. Respect that idea that's mulling around in your head. You know, we're back in what, the 4, 5, so about the 6th or 7th week of the month, of the year, I should say. Respect your ability to do what it is you're thinking about doing. Walk your walk, talk your talk. Don't care. Don't worry about what other people are going to tell you. You know, respect. Hold yourself. Like if you watch a skunk, I haven't seen skunks in a while, but I've certainly seen plenty of footage of them. You know, they strut their stuff. You know, they get out there and say, "This is my space, and I'm going to occupy it." And I think the skunks come into our reading today because they're saying, you know, you don't need to bully, you don't need to threaten, you don't need to be aggressive. You just need to command respect. You know, assert with what the book says. Assert without ego what you are, and respect will follow that. Skunk medicine people have the ability to attract others, and they're very charismatic, which sort of seems opposite to what you would think a skunk would be thinking and saying. But it's about, you know, I command respect. But they repel those who seek to take energy from them without recycling the gifts they have taken. That's, you know, don't, you know, respect me. And if you don't respect me, then I'm going to repel you. Skunk medicine people know how to use the energy flow. They'll attract the lover. Oh, this all went into the book. Then went into sort of lover stuff, which doesn't resonate with me today. What does resonate with me is if you're different, respect your difference, and others will. So if you respect yourself, others will respect you, and then the right people will be attracted to you. You know, skunks don't have a worry about who is or isn't attracted to them because they're secure within themselves. I think that's the big message that's coming out here. And like, dare to be different. If you're going to have a great idea and you're going to stand out from the crowd, then you need to dare to be different. Sometimes that daring to be different will make you less than acceptable to others. Live with that. That shouldn't take away the respect you have for yourself and the respect that others should give you. So that's the skunk. Now we move into other card deck, and this is where it started to get really interesting. Or interesting for me, made me really think. So we're into the, as I said, the Colette Baron Reid's Spirit Animal Oracle. And the first one that came out was the Swan Spirit. And what got me is that this resonated quite well with the sort of theme that's coming out from the overriding theme of the whole reading, and the other. Just trying to find where I've put the PDF of this. The overriding theme that's come out from this, and I know where I've got it. So I'm just searching for something here. The overriding theme that's come out for this, and the and a totally different card deck in what is basically a totally different ream. So I'm just trying to find the. So what I tend to do is, yes, I do use the guidebook to a degree, and I do use the guidebook when I'm working with a new deck that I'm not so familiar with. So I'm just trying to find the spot in this guidebook. I thought I had this open, but I didn't. So think about the swan. The swan is beautiful. They're associated with love. They're associated with passion. They're associated with beautiful things. But let's go deeper. When you see a swan sitting on the surface, it's very easy just to think about that beauty of the swan. I suppose Swan Lake's sort of done that for most of us, but the beauty of the swan just on the surface. But what's a swan's behavior about? How does the swan exist? You know, if you watch swans for long enough, you'll see them dive very deeply down. You know, they're beautiful and they look stunning, but you'll see them dive very deeply down to catch whatever they need to catch. I'm assuming they eat fish. Small fish, I would say they eat. You'll see them diving very deeply down to get what it is they eat. And I've just realised another way that I could have used this deck was I could have taken the spirit oracle of the other two cards I've drawn. So I might try that in another reading as well. So I'm still trying to find the swan. Here we are. And the statement that's on this swan card is time for a deep dive. Now, if I apply that back into the overriding theme that's coming out here from both the skunk and from the eagle and from the rain, is that don't just look on the surface. If you're revitalizing your life, or you're not happy with what's going on in your life, or you're starting a new business venture, or you're in a job that you hate, think deeply. Swans are able to reach down that very, very long neck that when they extend it will give them a very deep dive down below what's easily available on the surface. Take the plunge. So remember, the eagle said to us, be courageous to go up above into a place that probably scares you, to soar up into the heights. Now the swan's saying, don't forget about soaring down as well, down towards the earth. Take the plunge into the depths of, metaphorically, not into the depths of the water, but into the depths of what's down below within you, the depths of your awareness. And ask your intuition, ask the swans to allow the intuition that's down there to rise to the surface, because you know the swan dives, it comes back up, and then brings up with it whatever it went down to grab, and it matches. And the swan's just laughing at me, just saying, yes, the eagle does it by going up in the air and soaring up above there and getting new awareness and new perspective. I do it by going down. So I do it by going down towards the earth. The eagle does it by going literally almost above the earth. So we're getting, as I said before, it's not uncommon in these readings for a reinforcement of a message to come out, and that's exactly what has come out here. But the swan is saying that you don't necessarily have to soar up. Don't forget to soar down as well. Don't forget to dive down as well. And that going up and down and expanding your awareness in other ways is equally as important, because there's going to be different stuff when you dive down as there is when you soar above it. Ask yourself why. Dive down into the, why is this happening? Why am I doing this? Why? All that, the why is this happening to me? Why am I doing this? The big who, what, when, where, why questions. And the swan has also just said to me, it's not about being beautiful. It's the beauty is often just surface, skin deep, and that those who have the beauty but also have the ability to look within and to dive down and to question the why are going to be the successful ones. And it's saying that that's what the swan is saying. That's what's important for you from our messages here today. So don't just look on the surface. The eagle said very much a similar thing. Don't just look on the surface. look further and deep, further afield, wider. The swan's saying look deeper. So this is a very, very consistent reading. Thank you, animals. Now that's swan. And the why I did 4 cards is that I wanted to keep this balanced. I sort of thought, well, I'll only bring in one other card, but the answer is no. That didn't feel balanced to me. It felt it would be more balanced if I did 2 from the medicine card deck and 2 from the spirit card deck. So the 4th card is the antelope spirit. So I then asked the antelope, so what do you bring? Do you bring us something additional to think about in this reading, or are you going to reaffirm the other thoughts? And the antelope, this didn't come to me before, this is coming to me now. The antelope saying, I am also beautiful, but I'm fleet, and I reflect that when you start soaring above and diving deep, that life is going to speed up, that more and more and more things are going to come at you that you need to deal with, and that can be, I don't know whether I like the word problematic, but that can be challenging. Challenging is a better word. That is challenging when you feel like life is speeding up. When change is happening on you, sometimes change happens too quickly, and you may get the desire to slow down the speed of change, to slow down the speed of life. I don't know about you. I'm not far off turning 63, but it seems like life is so much faster now than it ever used to be. I don't know whether that's a reflection of age, and a reflection of being a single disabled woman living on my own, and therefore there's no one to hand things off to do, hand off to others things that need doing. It's either me or nobody. Or whether that's because life is faster now. I suspect life is faster now than it certainly was in the 60s and 70s. But as I say, I'm conflicted as to whether that's because I was a child in the 60s and 70s versus, being an adult. But I think social media, so, we get a lot of social media that comes at us. We get a lot of messages that come at us now that we never used to before. Life was a lot simpler, and I think that's why the feeling of life speeding up is happening. And so the antelope tends to rush everywhere. They're either very, very still and very calm, but not for long. They have to stay on the move. They constantly have to stay on the move because they want to, they have to stay on the move to stay away from predators. There is a lot of things that will predate on an antelope. The other big thing about the antelope, and in the theme of this reading, is the antelope saying, well, you're going to have to speed up. You're going to have to get moving to change. That this going up above and then diving down like the swan is telling you, and the commanding respect and being your own person, that the skunk has been telling us, doesn't come without the fact that you're going to have to accept that life will get busier once you do this. Get moving, set your intentions, take action towards making your dreams real. And the skunk then just came into me, and there's quite a lot of animals talking in my head at the moment. The skunk just came in and said, what's the word? Not demand your territory, but occupy your territory. Feel confident when you occupy your territory. That when you set your intentions, make your dreams real, say, this is what's going to happen. This is my territory, not so much a territory, but this is the sphere in which I'm going to operate. These are my goals. It's almost so in an animal that becomes your territory. This is what I'm going to do, and this is where I'm going to do it. And that's about setting your boundaries. Boundaries is the word. That's the word I've been struggling for. And know that this is, once you do that, once you decide what you're going to do, and you've done the introspection that the eagle and the swan are talking to you about, the skunk then comes in and says, right, now set your boundaries. And the antelope saying is, when you do that, expect things are going to happen fast, really fast, and be aware that they're going to happen really fast, and that you're going to have to move quickly, and you're going to have to pivot. That was the thing that came out very much before. If you watch antelopes, they're really good at pivot. They're really good at jumping up high and pivoting. They're very fleet. And that within all of this change that's going on, that you decide to do it, you look at it very carefully, and then you decide to do it. Be prepared to pivot. Don't be set and fixed in your goals. Be prepared to go back and the eagles just said, be prepared to go above it again and reassess why you whether what you originally thought is still going to work for you. You know, what have you learned? Keep going. Both the eagle and the swan have both said, keep going up above and down below. Keep doing it at regular intervals and keep saying, well, okay, is that still working? What else can I see now in the light of what's happening? But the antelope saying, stay the course. Even though there's a lot of movement going on around you, and that it feels like at times it's too fast, you've got to stay the course. That you know, the antelope is saying, as the eagle has said and the swan has said, it's scary when you go up there and when you go down below. And the skunk has said, yes, and people get scared around me, and that's normal. People will get scared around you, particularly as you change. People will get scared around you. The antelope saying, have the courage of your convictions. Have the courage to deal with what gets thrown at you, because if you're going to become different, like the skunk is saying, you will get some haters. And the antelope is saying, that's okay. Be prepared to deal with that. Okay, I think that's about all the messages that are coming now, although I could probably, and interestingly, the rain's now stopped. Maybe the rain's saying you've got our messages for a while. So what's next? Next week, goodness, this goes for the 11th to the 12th to the 18th of February. So we're on the virtually the last full, next week we're on the last full week of February. My goodness, it only seemed like 5 seconds ago that February started, and here we are, absolutely belting through the month, belting through the year. So everybody have a good week, and all things considered, let's hope I will be back with you next week. Thank you very much for being here with me today. I hope you found this enjoyable. It is for educational purposes only. If you do want a fuller reading, then I do those obviously online, so you can be anywhere in the world. Just go to petcaremagic.com and you will find the link to book a time to have a fuller animal reading. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification buttons if you want to be notified when I do more of these each week. Thank you, and I hope you all have a really great week.